Been a big week in the precious metals markets. Gold above $2,000 per ounce. Can you believe that? I'll tell you a quick story. I was on the phone with my friend Steve yesterday. He's a fellow investor of mine in First Mining Gold. And he said, man, we really need gold to get above $2,000. And I checked gold when we got off the phone, and gold was above $2,000. Now, what does that mean for silver? Especially within the context that the world is running out of silver. We're going to talk about that in this video. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about today. But man, what a week for the precious metals, especially gold. We don't like to see it on the back of violence and war. But, you know, we believe that despite what's going on with the war, the value of silver and gold should be much, much higher, right? That's part of what we believe. That's why you come to the basement. We have a lot of fun. You guys are awesome, and we got a lot of cool things going on in the Ron's Basement community. We're going to touch on some of those. Thank you, DeBron, for this super chat, my friend. Super appreciated. But at the end of the day, you believe in silver. You also may believe in gold. You also may believe in platinum. That's what we're here for, to talk about it, to be prepared for what's coming down the road. And what we saw last week within the gold market, that proves to us gold is still an important safe haven asset. But guys, there's a lot more for us to cover. Let's dive into silver first. Remember Keith Neumeyer? Do you guys remember Keith Neumeyer? He's the CEO of First Majestic Silver. He's like the crown prince of, whoa, oh my gosh. I injured the silver bear. Oh no. There we go. Poor guy. Oh, everything's falling apart. Hold on. Retake. Redo. Stay with me. Susie, this is Susie's Halloween sign. That's going to be on the floor. And I'm going to fix. Why, the old Smitty looks like he's half drunk. Sorry for that, guys. Keith Neumeyer is the crown prince of silver. He's been a proponent. He's been your friend for decades. He's a successful CEO. He runs First Majestic Silver. He still talks about $100 silver. Go ahead, you can do it. Throw egg at me. Coin Shop Chris and I, we get harassed all the time when we talk about $85 silver. Well, Keith Neumeyer talks about triple-digit silver. And Keith Neumeyer knows a thing or two about silver, running one of the world's largest silver mining companies. More on him later, but I talked over the last 2 weeks. I had extensive conversations with CEOs of 3 other silver companies, okay? Sean Kuhn from Dolly Varden Silver. They've got a huge silver exploration project in British Columbia. John Lee from Silver Elephant, right? They have massive silver deposits. And I also spoke just recently with Galen McNamara. He's the CEO of Suma Silver. What are all these guys telling me? Right? Now, sure, they're silver mining CEOs, but they know more about what's going on in the silver market than really people like you and I can. I mean, that's what they've been doing for decades and decades. And sure, you know a lot. I'm not criticizing you or myself. But these guys at the tops of these companies have keen insights, and the feeling that I got from each and every one of them, sure, they all had nuances in how they were looking at the silver market, but that we've got bright, bright days ahead within the world of silver. Hold on to your silver. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, okay? I'm just giving you my opinion. I am a staunch believer in the future of silver. Sure, the price of gold skyrocketed. Absolutely skyrocketed. Somebody tell Joe, gold skyrocketed. Okay, right? Silver is doing okay, right? We're hanging out around $23 per ounce. Silver's got some catching up to do. You know what the gold to silver, or is it silver to gold ratio is right now? Coin Shop Chris and I did some calculations last night, some heavy math. If you divide the price of gold by the price of silver, you come to 87. That is historically high. Silver's got some catching up to do. And I I know I'm going against the grain when I say this, but I think that with gold, we are on the road to a new all-time high. Do you believe it? Are you a basement believer? You're a basement dweller. That's right. Right? You're a basement dweller. When you come here, you're a dweller. Welcome. You're always welcome here. Please give this a thumbs up. But do you believe? That's my question for you. Do you believe that it can happen? That we could go to new all-time highs in the price of gold? Guys, it can happen. I know it feels like it never will happen because we've been rejected so many times. We've covered that. Lucy pulls the football. Charlie Brown goes flying through the air. That's the gold and silver investor. But that will change, right? It will change. I was reading this morning something very interesting. I didn't even realize all the countries. It was a list of all the countries that have had new all-time highs in the gold price. China, India, Japan, Australia, I believe Canada was on there as well. The world is experiencing new all-time highs in gold in America, right? The US dollar will be next because is the dollar in great shape? Yeah, right. Is the U.S. government? Yeah, right. It will only be a matter of time. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the feeling I get when I talk to these CEOs, I'm blessed. I feel fortunate. I get to spend time talking. I was with Dan Wilton, the CEO of First Mining Gold, within the last 2 weeks. Man, I've been talking to a lot of CEOs. They're good people. They're normal people, just like me and you, okay? There's no difference, right? No difference. You're as important as any CEO out there. But these people dedicate their lives and have dedicated their lives to study, and everybody's of the same opinion. I was also with some of the top precious metals analysts from Toronto just a few weeks ago. I'm telling you, man, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows. It's going to be super, super interesting. I don't have any big inside information, right? But I'm telling you, the feeling that they see when they talk is the same feeling that you're getting as well. Don't forget to please give this a thumbs up. I'm going to beg you. All right. It feels good. There's 200 people on here already. My gosh. Thousands of people will watch this live stream as well. I want you to know that. Thousands and thousands of people. We are getting the word out. The channel continues to grow. We've got some crazy fun things coming down the road. Don't forget the Black Friday giveaway. Okay? There's a link in the description. Don't go now, but go later. There's a link in the description of every video. We got a big silver giveaway and some gold backs on Black Friday. We're doing another big giveaway on Christmas Eve. Okay? That's going to be linked to our new website, which is going to have a forum for you, a place where you can go 24 hours a day, right? .com Don is working on it. We got this guy named .com Don. He's putting together a super slick forum where basement dwellers can unite anytime. Thank you, Craig. Basement dwellers. I promise at some point I'll get some t-shirts made up too, and we'll make them ourselves and make them a little more affordable, right? Basement dweller. Okay, I'm sorry. Silver. Gold, too. But now we're going to talk about silver. When I talk about gold, I'm talking about silver. When I'm talking about silver, I'm talking about gold. Nonetheless, silver. Don't forget, right? It's easy to get in the weeds and in the minutia of everything, all right? Don't forget, we got to remember the foundation. It's finite. Finite, not infinite. Finite, not infinite. Finite. There's only so much silver on the face of the earth. Whatever you're holding right now at your house, what you have on your person, what you have as an investment, right? That's part of this amount that's on the earth. It's not somebody brought that up to me the other day and kind of busted me, gave me a hard time, and I'm like, you know what? I'll mention it during a live stream. I listen to you. That we forget to talk about the fact that there's only so much silver, only so much gold on the planet. Okay? You can make dollars infinitely. You can make electronic dollars infinitely. You can make COMEX futures silver contracts almost infinitely. CoinShop Chris is repeatedly throwing virtual ding-dongs at me. I will ring the bell in a second. Don't you guys worry. We ring bells. When we get to 100 thumbs up, it looks like that. I ring the bell 10 times, and I'm going to do that in a second. Okay, but there's there's infinite amount. Unicorn fart dust. Basement dwellers know what unicorn fart dust is. Yeah, that's paper money. That's electronic money. That's cryptocurrency. Anything that can be made infinitely. There's a finite amount of silver and a finite amount of gold. So, George, like I promised you, I wanted to remind our fellow basement dwellers, that's something in which we can rejoice. Whatever amount of silver you have, right? Hold a piece right now. Here, I'll do it with you. Here's a piece. Oh, here's a 1 ounce coin that was sent to me by my friend Coin Shop Chris. Right? I'm holding that. That's a part of a limited amount of silver that's on the planet. All right? That's important for us to remember to rejoice. Now, let me go ring the bell 10 times, 1 time for each thumb up. We got to 117 thumbs up. So we're going to ring the bell 11 times. If I come back and we're at 120 thumbs up, I'll ring it 12 times. We got to 122. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry I rang that so close to the microphone. There's some people that get sensitive, and I really will try not to be so close to the microphone. I forgot about that. I apologize. Don't become an ex-basement dweller over it. All right. Back to silver. Oh, we got these great graphs that are going around. Have you seen these graphs, these charts going around? Apparently, we're going to be out of silver by the year 2030. Okay? It's making its rounds in the silver community. They're saying, I don't know how they calculated it, but they're saying, and I got a video coming out about it, just keep your eyes peeled, show the chart, right? That silver is going to be gone by the year 2030. Interesting. And then there's this other chart going around, this other infographic, right? That says by the year 2050, the solar panel industry, photovoltaics, we're going to be sophisticated. Photovoltaics will consume 98% of the world's silver. What do you think? I mean, look, no, they don't know for sure. Let's be real, right? But what we can gather from those two data points is, number one, there's not a lot of silver. There's less and less silver being produced every year by the silver mining companies. I can tell you that because I talk to the CEOs. They tell me, Ron, we don't know where the silver is going to come from. Have you noticed a trend? Right? We're talking about silver. This affects the price of silver. But have you noticed a trend? Because I have. I follow it closely. A lot of the big silver mining companies have pivoted. I hate that word. Pivot. They pivoted. People were using that like 3 years ago. Every other sentence on CNBC. The little bit that I watch CNBC. Anyway, they pivoted from silver to gold. Right? America's Gold and Silver tried it. Even First Majestic bought a big gold mine. Fortuna Silver has really successfully pivoted to producing a lot more gold. Right? They got this massive successful project going in Africa. Who are the other ones? There's a whole list. Because silver, for silver miners, they're not making any money. Right? They're struggling to survive right now. And what is that? New silver. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Can you see me? Oh, no, not this again. Oh, boy. Did I lose you? Give me a 5 by... Okay, woo, thank you. I went through a period of time where, like, for a week, the power went out and everything else. Anyway, they aren't investing. Okay? Silver is... remember, there's only so much on the planet. We covered that already. And it gets consumed. Most of it gets consumed, and there's now less and less being mined and produced. Okay, think about that. Last year, there was less silver produced in 2022 than there was in 2021. And the pipeline, right? Because every time a mining company digs up an ounce of silver and then it gets put into a bomb or a satellite or a cell phone or a solar panel or an electric car or... I don't know, whatever electric toys you like to play with, we won't go there. Nonetheless, it gets consumed, right? There's only so much on the planet. There's only so much that the mining companies have. They can't find anymore, so they got less and less they're producing, and they aren't looking for much more. There's only a handful of companies that are looking for. That means good things for you as a silver investor in the future. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Whoa, B-Dog, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you. That's awesome. I feel very spoiled, and I much appreciate that. But I don't know. It can only mean one thing for the price of silver in the future. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you agree? If you agree, say yes. If you disagree, say no. Because you're my audience. It's important that I know what you're thinking. Woo! Yes, yes, yes. Dang, B-Dog. Yes, thank you, B-Dog. Thank you, Canadian Silver Surfer. Yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff going on, guys. Hey, and while we're on that matter, let's all say thank you to our sponsor, Pimbex. I can't do this financially without help from sponsors. Pimbex helps support the channel. They make this possible. They make this community possible. Online bullion dealer. If you're looking to buy some silver or gold or platinum, go check out Pimbex, okay? Pimbex. I think what you'll find, but you need to find this out for yourself, is that they're trustworthy, they have the best prices, they have great selection, they have great customer service. The guys that run the company are top notch. Okay, I've been working with them for 10 weeks, and I told them this the other day. I said, honestly, I've never heard anyone email me, and you guys send me a lot of emails saying anything negative about Pimbex. Okay, I can look. I'm never gonna lie. I will only take sponsorships from companies that I've worked with, and I bought silver from Pimbex before they sponsored the channel. Okay, I only work with companies that I believe in. First Mining Gold, I own that stock for years. Okay, all right, you know that, right? Weber Seasonings, I don't talk about them enough, but I've used them for years and I love them. As a matter of fact, I made some unbelievable roasted potatoes a couple weeks ago with this Parmesan garlic seasoning that Weber had given me to try out. And man, they were good. And then they made me think, like, do you guys know who Abram Taylor is? He's a kind of a well-known guy in the community. He is an investor in Goldback, like a big investor. And his family, he was telling me, up in Idaho, farmed like 30,000 acres, potato farmers. I thought, I need to have Abram on, bring me some like top-notch potatoes. And we'll talk Goldback, potatoes, and I'll make my famous seasoned potatoes. Wow, I got off track. I'm sorry. Let's get back on the gold, okay? Fewer exploration things going on. Oh, that doesn't even. Let's just talk about one more good positive thing when it comes to the silver market and gold market. Well, silver market, we talked about what's going on with the miners and the supply of silver. But guys, we're not even factoring in when everything blows up. Armageddon, right? Armageddon is the worst case scenario. Okay? When the economy blows up, if social order were to blow up, and demand, if the banks blow up, and demand for silver and gold skyrocket, right? We know, I have to talk about this almost every day because I think it's so pertinent for us to understand in the context of what we're dealing with when it comes to the precious metals. We know what happened in March and April, and that was kind of a micro black swan. That was like a gray swan. Remember when Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic Bank and all, we know what happened to the precious metals markets. The bullion dealers had record sales, like unbelievable sales you couldn't find. So we know what can happen. We know where the economy is heading right now. It's undeniable where the economy is heading right now. The United States government, this is crazy. Okay? We have 33 trillion in debt, 16 trillion. And then I got something real crazy about trillions we're going to talk about, but 16 trillion, dollars of debt needs to be repaid in the coming 1 year. 16 trillion. Where in the world, pardon the pun, is the money going to come from for the U.S. government because the government can't really pay that off. They have to then re-borrow that money. But there's one little problem, one little itty-bitty problem, Janet Yellen. All that 16 trillion that you need to re-borrow, the last time you borrowed it, you were only paying 1 or 2% interest. Now you're going to be paying 5 or 6% interest. It is absolutely crazy. And that's why, I got so many crazy facts to share with you, but that's why, okay? Next year, it's now projected that the interest expense on the national debt alone is going to be over $1.2 trillion. Okay, think about that. Peter Grandich always tells me, like in the 80s, nobody knew what a trillion even meant or was. Right? It's like if I say to you now, quadrillion, I think that's the next thing after trillion. You're like, what's a quadrillion? Well, let me tell you what a trillion is. Okay. This came from one of the viewers. I listen to you. You're important, right? And don't forget, we're going to have this cool, I don't know what we're going to call it, the basement beacon, the basement banter, but we're going to have this cool place where we can all go 24 hours a day to talk. But nonetheless, trillion. Okay, and this came from one of you, pointed this out to me. A trillion is a million? And, honestly, I didn't check that, but if that's the fact, it's a million. So think that's a trillion. Mind-boggling. So the Fed is going to be in a position. Okay, now there's something else going on. All right, we're going to put in our complicated hats. We're going to learn a little bit today. Basically, and you can dig into this more if you want, but everybody's like, who's been buying the debt now? The Fed has this little like secret-ish facility that they've been running called the reverse repo facility, which allowed banks to park trillions of all that money that was printed during the cough crisis back in 2020. All the banks had parked all this money with the Fed, trillions of dollars, okay? Because the Fed would pay them like 5% interest. Well, now what's going on is the Fed is making them take money out of that, essentially by lowering the rate that they'll pay the banks to keep this money at the Fed. Don't let this spin your head too much, because there's a pretty simple, I'm going to synthesize this for you at the end. They're pulling their money out of this Fed program, and what are they buying? They're buying treasuries with it, okay? Because now they can get more interest. They can get 5.5% on the treasuries, so it's incentivizing the big banks to take that money out of the reverse repo program and buy treasuries. There's just one problem. That money is running out quickly, okay? Some people say by January, some people say by March, April. At the latest, in the summer, that money's going to be gone. So then who's going to be buying all these treasuries when Janet is trying to sell the 16 trillion, probably 18 or 20 trillion by then, because the deficit's growing as well? It could make interest rates go. It could be a sovereign debt crisis. Now, what does that mean? That means that the sovereign debt crisis is not a good thing in the United States. Not at all. That means interest rates could skyrocket while at the same time the value of the U.S. dollar goes down. Because aren't we at kind of a potential precipice right now? This is just math, right? The Wizard of Oz, and maybe they'll pull something new off. They will. Be prepared, right? Be prepared, because the Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve will have some other smoke and mirror or something. But it feels like the world is calling the bluff. It feels that way. I think a lot of people are seeing right now the world is calling the bluff. Now, we're going to get some news this week from our friend Jerome. This week could be huge. another huge week for the precious metals. There's pretty much like a 97% chance, did you know this, that the Fed is not going to raise rates on Wednesday, November 1st, the day after Halloween, right? And by the way, Susie's playing a little game with you guys called Hide the Mini Pumpkin. So whoever can find the mini pumpkin first, you're the winner. I don't have anything to give away today, but you're the winner chicken dinner. I don't know. If you want to email me a picture of yourself, I'll put you on the community page as the winner of the mini pumpkin thing. You guys can moderate this for yourself. Anyway, I'll put you up on the community page. I'll say basement dweller, big winner. Nonetheless, Wednesday is going to be a huge day. Be prepared. Be buckled in, because while we probably won't get an interest rate, any shocking news in interest rates, Jerome, you know what? I haven't had Jerome. Do you guys want to see Jerome? Huh? Thank you, Jake's Custom Parts. Thank you, Coin Shop Chris. Thank you, Jim M. Thank you, Annie Oakley. Man, you guys are the best. The Weber Bear. Yes, that's right. Whoever got it first, JM, send me a picture. I'll put you on the community page if you like as the big winner of the day. Nonetheless, should I get Jerome out? You guys want to see Jerome? It's been a while since we've seen our old friend Jerome Powell. Are you ready to see Jerome? Uh-oh, Annie says no. Sorry, Annie, he's coming out. On Wednesday, we're going to hear from him. There he is. Hi, everybody. I'll see you on Wednesday, and I'll be screwing with the precious metals market, so be prepared. I don't know the man. I'm waiting to hear back. I've invited Jerome Powell to the basement for an interview where we could ask him some serious questions, okay? I mean that. Jerome, I'm waiting to hear back regarding our upcoming interview. Nonetheless, he's going to move the markets on Wednesday. It's not going to be what they do. It's going to be what they say. Now, we've talked about this. What's more important is that we pay attention to what they do, because what they say is a bunch of unicorn farts, dust on top of that. The Fed, whatever they say, it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's manipulation. It's smoke. It's mirrors. It's look over here, look over there. It's like psychological operations. They're pulling on the U.S. economy. Okay, watch what they do, not what they say. Everybody else will do the opposite. What do they say? Oh, the Fed, look, they changed this one word in the statement, and that, that's all short-term noise. If we get clobbered this week, and maybe we will, right? Maybe we will get clobbered in the precious metals. It can happen, okay? I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen. I think I have a feeling that we're into the new paradigm, the new environment for the metals, a new floor. I could be wrong. Don't you make any financial decisions based upon anything that I'm saying here today, but I feel like we're in a new, but we're going to watch what they do, not what they say, because what he says is a bunch of BS. And don't forget, they're getting to a point, right? They're getting to a point where next year, okay, I can't even imagine where we're going to be next year right now. Make sure you're prepared monetarily and emotionally for what's going to happen. But it's going to be a point that the Fed is going to get to, especially when this reverse repo money runs out and they're dealing with an untenable amount of debt, unmanageable amount of debt, where they're going to have to decide between killing the economy and basically printing more money. Yield curve control. It's a fancy word, right, that talks about keeping the long-term interest rates down, that type of thing. It's going to be absolutely crazy. We can't let this die. I'm sorry. I don't want you to be mad at me, basement dwellers, but I just can't let this die, because I believe this is one of the biggest indicators, symbols, that a year from now or 3 years from now, I'm going to be able to say, I told you so. I'm often wrong, but I was right about this. And that is the Costco indicator. I got an email from one of the viewers showing me that Costco is once again selling gold. But what's interesting now is they were now selling Rand, RAND gold bars. Like I think before they were Credit Suisse bars. Costco continues to capitalize on this huge demand for gold, and I'm telling you, it's the first sign. It's the absolute first sign of what's to come for demand for precious metals in the United States. I mean, in that we can talk about all the fundamental reasons why silver and gold are valuable, right? They're finite. The world loves them. They've been around for thousands of years. You know all that, okay? But when we see the people in the richest country in the world, the United States, wake up, because basement dwellers we're all woken up, right? You're woken up. We know what's going on, okay? We had pulled our head out of the sand. But when our neighbors and relatives start to wake up, that's what's going to be a catalyst like we've probably never seen before when it comes to demand for these metals. Absolutely. I was talking to the executive team at Pimbex yesterday morning about what could happen when we see, because they have a good feel for demand. And by the way, all the indications I'm getting from CoinShop Chris and from other contacts, including the guys at Pimbex, is that sales of metals are still very robust. There's still demand. There's a real steady, strong demand in the retail community to buy precious metals. And I hadn't thought about this, but part of the reason why when we have these gray swan events or black swan events and people rush to buy more metals, like once all the inventory is gone at your local coin shop or your online bullion dealer, the refiners and the mints, that's a bottleneck. They just can't keep up. I mean, that's why there's only, right now, think about it, there's only so much inventory at your local coin shop and other local coin shops around the world. There's only so much inventory available at all the big online bullion dealers. Once that gets wiped out, okay, the mints, they aren't very flexible in terms of their ability, the refiners and mints, to produce more. Okay, we could see not only massive price increases, okay, and Pat Holland talks about this all the time. Man, I love Pat. He's a smart guy. Price increase in the metal, like price discovery in the metal, like maybe silver goes to where it should be at minimum right now, $35 per ounce. But that premium on top of it, and we've seen this, we've had a taste of it, could really explode. I wouldn't be shocked if, I'm going to go out on a limb, and this is new territory for me, and I'll be curious to see. Send me an email. Let me know what you think. But I wouldn't be surprised if things play out even half as bad as a lot of us think they could play out, that we could see premiums at 100%. Throw eggs at me, throw ding-dongs at me, throw whatever you want at me. Please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. And when we get to 200, I'm going to ring the cowbell for you, man. I know. What a big special treat. I think we could see 100% premiums because of what we talked, because of all the other factors, plus the fact that when it goes this time, it's really going to go, and the mints and refiners aren't going to be able to keep up. So we're going to see premiums, and that is what Pat Holland says. That's the real price. That's the real price, right? I mean, if you got to pay, $26 an ounce right now to get an ounce of silver, that's the real price, guys. The COMEX price is make-believe. We know that, okay? All right? Remember that. The real price is what the price is, and those premiums could easily go to 100%, right? That's why if you want to get some metal, you want to get it now. I got to ring the cowbell. You guys ready? I'm not going to ring it too close to the microphone. Maybe just once I'll get close. We'll put the cowbell with Smitty, the Silver Bear. How's everybody doing? Basement dwellers. Tony Erickson's here. Chris Wallen. We could see gold being tokenized, which will skyrocket all commodities. Yeah. Yeah, people get all mad and bent out of shape with me when I talk about I'm a proponent of digital gold. Yeah. I'm not saying crypto. No, I personally don't like crypto because you can make crypto. I'm a proponent of digital gold. I'll tell you why. If the token associated with the digital gold is 100% redeemable for real metal, and that's what states like Texas were talking about doing. That's what Zimbabwe's talking about doing. If it's redeemable and it's transparent, and we know it's audited, it's regulated, that if there's 100 tokens out there, there's 100 ounces of gold backing it up. And if that person that has that one token wants their gold, they can show up and redeem their token for gold, right? But they could use that token for everyday transactions, however you want to say it. I'm not a guru in that area, but I know there's a lot of work going on. And the reason why I like that is, number one, that doesn't mean that you can't still hold physical metal at your house or wherever you want to hold it, okay? It doesn't disqualify that. But what it does mean is that gold and silver could be used for everyday transactions all around the world. And as that catches on, thank you, Count Derpula. I don't do cryptos. Yeah, I don't do cryptos either. But it could create massive new demand for the metals. And we know, thank you, Count Derpula, we know the world is demanding so much more gold. The central banks, everybody, everywhere, this limited quantity. And the future for us precious metals investors looks very, very, very bright. Let's talk about the mining stocks. Man, and how does that impact the price of the metal? Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. The mining stocks have not benefited from this recent run-up in the price of gold. Now, there could be a big warning here. Okay, I'm going to talk about something you may not want to recognize. So, if you're real sensitive and you don't want to hear a potential negative for the metals prices, stick two fingers in your ears. I'm going to have a drink of coffee and be right back. The precious metals mining stocks, despite the fact that gold has skyrocketed above $2,000 per ounce, the precious metals mining stocks have been like, big deal. They've really, really have not gone up, okay? Minuscule, if best. Some of them even down. They're waiting. Here's what they're doing. They're waiting to see if this recent, we've had gold go up, like I heard somebody $180 in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it's been a big, massive increase in the gold price. They're waiting to see if this was just a knee-jerk reaction to the unfortunate situation. Thank you, Dana, that's unfolded in the Middle East. Well, we also have a war. You guys like now I don't say war anymore. I say war. Susie threatened me. Nonetheless, is the price of gold up just because of this knee-jerk reaction? And will it fall right back down once everything simmers down in that area? That's what the gold mining stocks are saying right now. That's what I'm hearing from the top analysts, from my contacts. But here's the good news, right? I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion that gold will pull back, and silver's kind of waiting there as well. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shovel, 1968. Man, I am spoiled today. I don't know that that's the case, that we have just this absolute knee-jerk reaction to the silver price and gold price because of the horrible situation that's unfolded. Guys, at some point, that the fundamentals matter. The facts matter, and the facts that we know that support the silver price and gold price indicate that we should be much, much higher. I'm hearing people talk about $3,000 gold again next year. Okay, remember that was supposed to happen in 2023. So you'd think, well, maybe we're just a year late. Where would silver be? All right, where would silver be? Let's just say we hit $3,000 gold. I could see silver at $40. I really could. I think it can happen. I know it could happen. The one thing I know for sure, I am spoiled rotten to have such an awesome community of people, right? You're a part of that community right now. That's a big deal, right? There's only one you, yeah, but you and me and everybody else, we are part of this community of people that love to talk about precious metals, love to be aware of what's going on out there in the world, because there's a lot going on. Can you imagine? I mean, if you and I had known each other 5 years ago, I wish I'd known you longer, but I'll take what I got right now, that you're here with us right now. But if 5 years ago, yes, I was 5 years younger, so were you, better looking, all that good stuff. But we'd said we're going to shut the world down in the year, what that would be 2018, November. We're talking, we're going to shut the world down? Really? Oh, yeah, in 2020, we're going to shut the world down. We're going to have a full-blown war in Europe, and the United States is going to be involved. Oh, and by the way, then just a couple years later, guys, we're going to have a full-blown war going on, horrific situation in Israel and Palestine. If I told you if I'd have known you 5 years ago, let me ask you this question, because I don't know that I would be able to say yes to this question. If I'd met you 5 years ago and I'd said, hey, and maybe you were into silver and gold back then. I was. And even then, if I'd said, hey, what do you think about BRICS? I don't know that if you'd asked me that question, that I would have known much. I think I would have known what BRICS is. Yeah, that's Brazil, Russia, but not the implications in the bifurcation and the gross separation that's going on in the world right now. But remember, right? We want to protect ourselves. We want to protect ourselves from unicorn fart dust. We need a unicorn fart dust mask. And the filter on that unicorn fart dust mask happens to be made out of silver and maybe some gold as well, right? Because what's going on with this massive change in the world is only beneficial to the precious metals. I love this statistic. I forget who I was talking to. Oh, it's somebody I work with. I have a little job at night and get to talk to some nice people. And her boyfriend is from India. Okay, she has a new boyfriend. Well, it's been with him for a year. He's getting his PhD. And I asked her. This is interesting. This has to do with gold. And then I'll try to finish the other thought that I had. But I asked her. I'll call her Elizabeth because I don't have permission to talk about her. It was her boyfriend's from India. I said, does he ever talk about gold? And he's getting his PhD in finance. Okay, her boyfriend, and he's from India. Oh, she said, oh yeah, all the time. And I'm like, have you picked up on the fact that Indian people feel differently about things like gold? She's like, yeah. You know, she's like, it's really interesting. I'm like, yeah, isn't it? Like people, okay, that's right, the fact. And then I told her, I said, I'm going to make up a name because I just don't feel right. But her name, I'll say Elizabeth, but her real name starts with I. Anyway, I said, Elizabeth. I said, did you know that the population of India is 1.4 billion people, who your maybe future husband, that country he's from? I said, did you also know that the population of China is 1.4 billion people? And then I said, did you also know that when you combine the armies of India and China together, that they have when you combine the size of their armies, the number of soldiers they have, it's more than the entire United States of America, the entire population? I mean, it's mind-blowing, guys. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And that all those people love silver and gold. In those countries, India bought 300 million ounces of silver last year. How many did you buy? Right? 300 million, like 38% of the world's silver production. Right? India also has 25,000 metric tons of gold just at their households. 3 times what we have at Fort Knox, supposedly here in the United States of America. That doesn't even factor in China, who's buying more gold and is the number one. Not only do they produce more gold, they're the number one producer of gold, they also are buying it hand over fist. And on their internal market, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, it sells for 6% more right now than it does in the United States on the COMEX and the LBMA. What is going on? The other big thing to remember, and I'm hearing this is simple. This is very important for you to understand this, though. Oil, I had this teacher in grade school who would say always bugged me. Oil is the lifeblood of the world economy. The oil market dwarfs the gold market. The oil market really dwarfs the silver market, okay? Something interesting, and it has to do with silver and gold. They're basically selling oil for gold now. There's the petro yuan contract. The Chinese are selling, or have a market where you can sell oil for yuan, okay? But they also have an adjacent market where you can immediately convert your yuan into gold on the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Oh, and by the way, that's at a higher rate than the that's a big deal. And the reason why is because the oil market dwarfs the gold market, the oil market will be the driving force in that oil-gold relationship. Well, guys, I'm about ready to have a coughing attack. Thanks for being here with me in the basement. It's a big deal. I appreciate you being here. You're number one. It's not RonTube, it's YouTube. I'll see you soon.